I'm not a fan of sodaing something.
I don't know. It looks like a Frappuccino mango smoothie, bro.
You know what? It's close to it.
I'm surprised
you get one today.
I'm surprised he didn't give us a straw, bro. This is the girliest drink I've ever had in my life.
I think it needs a straw.
Bro, here I was thinking he's going to give me a scotch on the rocks. Look what it gives me, bro. It gives me a smoothie. Cheers, boys.
Cheers.
Cheers. Cheers. Cheers.
He's Daxy. Finally
Shout out to Dax. That's horrible.
Sorry, Jay. I think I made it wrong.
Yeah, sorry, right? Sorry, boys. It's going to be one of those podcasts.
I don't know how he didn't make it frothy on his one.
It probably settled. I don't know. Probably poured it too early.
You trying to tell me how to bartend?
Fuck.
That's a bad move.
At this point, I'm actually like considering maybe it's not even a bartender, bro. Maybe he's fucking dealing drugs here.
No, because Jamie Gannon has his thing. Is
bro,
Jamie?
Family's not here. House is empty.
No one lives here.
No one lives here.
It's literally the podcast house. That's what it is.
He's rented this on Airbnb. It's actually a tax write-off that he's trying to like just set up as a house.
Look,
there's no one, not a living soul around here.
You better watch what you say, bro.
I know.
There's nowhere to run here. No one will hear you scream.
Well, I saw my reception cut off like
That's it.
about 20 minutes ago.
And then I tell him it's going to take 3 hours.
Yeah, and he's like, 3 hours. I don't know. Fuck.
How good. I reckon you're pretty lucky because last time our podcast was in the shed.
He was telling me.
And it was like...
sauna.
It was hotter than 40 degrees. It was worse.
Yeah, you could have called the podcast hot seat or something.
It was almost like torture.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we did it anyway.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for putting me in a very nice.
So we've got aircon in here.
Ducted aircon room. Well lit. Obviously hydrated.
We've got a cappuccino.
I got all 3 types of hydration here. I've got a bit of alcohol, a bit of water, and just a bit of caffeine. Shout out to Code Espresso for even still keeping my.
It's got to be cold.
Coffee lukewarm. Yeah, it's nice, beautiful.
I want some hot water in this.
No, that's fine. Perfect.
Are you happy?
I was a barista, man, so I'm used to drinking atrociously cold coffees throughout the day.
When you were a barista, what was your go-to coffee?
Oh man, when you're a barista, you always want to start off with I'm gonna make a macchiato, cappuccino, piccolo. Sooner or later, it just becomes anything that comes out. Like whatever's the spare shot, just give me it because you just need a buzz.
That's it.
And you just need to be on, and you want to be in that flow state, and you just want to get whatever in you. So yeah, and you don't want it to go cold. And generally speaking, it always goes cold. Yeah,
true.
Yeah,
cold espresso is not great.
And then I got sort of how do you say, not crafty, but experimental. It's like, oh, you know what? Maybe because I started leaving them out, even milk. I'll make myself a latte, and it becomes so cold after an hour, and I don't want to throw it out. So I drink down. I'm like, you know what? It's actually not that bad. So then I just started making, without ice, nothing, just cold milk and coffee. And that was a thing that I was making. And then I started going crazy, started making these little, see how you put sparkling water into that drink? Mm-hmm. I used to have espresso with sparkling water.
Have you ever had espresso tonic?
What's that?
The
tonic? No.
So.
Well, maybe we'll have some after.
Maybe.
If you have any tonic around this house, probably don't.
Actually, I do have tonic.
Maybe if we Uber it, it'll take us 40 minutes.
Yeah.
Halfway through the podcast, we might be able to have an espresso tonic.
There's no Uber here. There actually is it. You can look it up. I swear to God.
Oh my God.
Watch. It doesn't exist.
It doesn't exist. It doesn't even come up.
You can't get here, bro. There's no way.
Yeah.
I'm telling you.
Oh my God.
What can we get? Oh, wait, hang on. Timlin kebabs and
there you go. You can get manush from fucking...
No, pick up only. Pick up only. You can't get delivery. How good's that? Well, let's kick things off. When you talk about move mastery.
Yes.
What is that?
So basically, the genesis of move mastery was... I was going through a tough period in my life. And... For the longest time, I always wanted to do something that I really wanted to do, but I always thought it was going to have to do with hospitality because that's what I was sort of put into.
You were in it.
I was in construction as well, but I fucking hated it. Sorry, I don't know if I'm allowed to swear, but
you are, yeah.
Too bad now. And I just hated the construction industry. Obviously, now with all the building that's gone on, it's just the beauty's taken away from it when you start dealing with different trades, builders, things not going right. You're chasing money all the time, and that's not really what I wanted to do. I wanted to, build and, the aspect of putting pieces together. And towards the end, I was like, I didn't really want to work for someone. I always wanted to do something for myself. And then because I was always in hospitality throughout my uni days or studying, whatever, I was like, okay, maybe I can just venture into hospitality because I sort of did enjoy it. I love the hustle and bustle. You would know that from working behind the bar. There's a certain rush, like an adrenaline rush that you get from just like,
you were good at it too,
and I was good.
You were good.
I was good.
Yeah.
It's one aspect to be able to make a good drink, and then two for like the showmanship. And I think I would never say that I'm like the best at making coffee or drinks or whatever it was, but I was good at talking, and I know how to talk to someone.
Noticed.
I'm very personable. I'm very personable, and I made it my own. Like I never sort of succumbed to being like super nice, super friendly. I would just give shit to my customers, and for some reason, idiots, they just kept coming back. They loved me for just being authentic, and I love that. And to be honest, and I think you can agree with this, the busier and the more chaotic it was, the more fun it was. When it started to slow down, you start to sort of lose your mojo a little bit.
Yeah, your feet hurt.
Your feet, so yeah,
time goes slow.
Time goes slow. You start to realize, like, oh man, like I'm genuinely tired. But when it's a rush, I'd rather have a 3-hour rush than have 3 hours twiddling my thumbs. Like, how annoying is that?
100%.
So that was happening. I was sort of saving up to maybe open up my own cafe. It was going to be always small. I like the idea of like a hole in the wall at the time. I like small operations. So because I'm a control freak, I like being able to be the show of the star, control everything, have small amount of staff, and the product is small, meaning the menu is small, but it's on point. And I think that's quite important when it comes to hospitality. Everyone sort of spreads themselves thin. They'll be like, we do burgers and pizzas and this and that and this and that and smoothies and all that stuff. It's like, man, like you don't specialize in one thing. Rather than just like, my idea back then was, I was going to be like a little bagel store. Just
I've done it the other way numerous times.
Yeah. Well, I mean, listen, everyone's got their own thing. For me, I just wanted to specialize in one thing, be good at one thing. As Bruce Lee says, I don't fear the man that knows 1,000 kicks. I fear the man that's practiced a kick 1,000 times. And it's more dangerous, more potent. And so that was my sort of theory on how to get into the world of, I don't know, entrepreneurship, business ownership, being self-autonomous. And I tried it. COVID happened. So when COVID happened, it put a sort of a noose around my neck where I started to see, oh shit, you know what? I might not be able to go full steam ahead, or I might not even be able to go to my work. And at one stage, I was sort of praying to God. I'm like, man, you know what? Like if this is not for me, please just give me a sign. And lo and behold, the next day, the news announced saying, oh, you're not allowed to leave your catchment area, whatever the hell that shit was. And I took that as a sign. So I sort of pulled out of the deal, and then went through a massive period of like, I wouldn't say depression. I don't believe in depression, but yeah, it's sort of like, fuck, what do I do now? You know what I mean? Like I had an opportunity. Did I really make a mistake? And then I obviously was continuing working at the bakery that I was working at in the hospitality scene. And through that, obviously I started speaking to some of my friends, and I always knew that I was into fitness. Like any customer will come up to me, and if they even open up the door to any sort of fitness related question, I was like on them, and I could speak for hours about it for free. Like I was glad enough to speak for free. I was glad enough to give the advice for free. And that sort of clicked to me. I was like, you know what, like I got to do this. I got to give this a shot, a chance. Like I got to give it a chance. And
you're also very athletically gifted in many things. Like basketball, no, like
but I've always
had a natural.
I always wanted to be. So my parents never wanted to push me into sports. You know, I come from a European background where you only have to go to uni, you have to have a job, a career, that sort of speak. And sports is like, nah,
it's secondary.
You're not going to get
not even there.
Why are you wasting your time? You know what I mean? That so to speak. So I always push the extracurricular activities my way. And yeah, obviously like basketball. We have that in common. Used to play tennis and all kind of sports. And calisthenics, I remember when I first started, was super new. And I saw a clip on Instagram, which was also at the time, Instagram wasn't like the biggest thing. I think Facebook was still around and YouTube was pretty massive. But there wasn't a lot of calisthenics guys out there posting content and all that stuff like that. So then I saw this guy do a handstand and I was like, fuck, man, I'd love to move my body like that. It's so complicated, but yet so satisfying. And ego-wise, like it's so elite. You know, it's a VIP sort of club. You can't, not everyone can do a handstand. I'm looking at you right now, you know?
Yeah, that's it.
You know? So with that being said, I was like, the doubts was still there, thinking, you know what, I'm too old. There's all these guys that are bigger than me, leaner than me, younger than me, more capable than me. But I was like, fuck it, if I don't do it now, I'm gonna think at 40 years old, I'm like, oh, maybe I should have done it. So I just went full steam ahead and I was like, fuck it, I'm just gonna start putting the word out, hey, if anyone wants me to be their coach. And then in terms of the name Move Mastery, it's not that I am the master of movement. It was more to sort of state that, you know, there is no such thing as mastery. We're always constantly learning. We're all students, but it is in the pursuit of mastery that we want. And for me, it was movement. I love to be able to move in complex ways. Like everyone was always like, oh, you do calisthenics, you must hate CrossFit. I don't hate CrossFit. Like there's still some love for that sort of sport. I just don't like it. Like I said before, like I think what you end up doing or your personality, they're all synonymous. So for instance, like I said before, I am a control freak. So my sort of movement or whatever I was going to choose, but I chose movement, it had to be a sense of control. And calisthenics is the ability to sort of manipulate your body through time and space, but in full control. It looks beautiful, you know what I mean? And it looks easy, but it's not, you know what I mean? You have to really train a lot, like train hard, do a lot of reps to able to make it look easy and to have full control, you know? And pretty much that's how it sort of started. I was like, that's the name. I sort of wanted movement in the name and mastery sort of in it as well. It sort of had a nice ring to it. My logo ended up being like a key and that sort of stuff. So it was all fitting together like a puzzle. And before I knew it, man, it's crazy. Like you know, if something is meant for you, there's usually not much roadblocks. It's sort of like it is a fast track. So like I remember when I first wanted to do hospitality, there were so many roadblocks. Everything was hard, you know what I mean? Like finding a place, real estate, getting in touch with suppliers, you know, staff and money, you know, setup fees and stuff like that. When I started Move Mastery, I only had like maybe 2 clients. Before I knew it, I found my business partner who, like now my business partner. Before that, he offered me like a offer. He's like, oh, you know, what do you want to do? I'm like, oh, I'm just doing PT, teaching calisthenics. He goes, how about this? He goes, how about you just come work for me? It's not a lot of classes, but he goes, you can use my space during the times that I'm not using classes.
Yeah.
And he goes, I won't charge you. I go, you're telling me you're going to pay me to teach at your place, fitness, which is what I want to teach, which is what my passion is. 2, you're going to let me use your space for free. I go, it's a no-brainer. Of course, I'd be stupid not to take it. So I took it immediately. And then he's given that opportunity to others. So he was expecting, okay, Ned's going to be exactly the same as the rest. Probably 2 clients, so it won't be chaotic. Man, I filled that place up. Like you remember, like I had back to back within like a month. I had like 20 clients just rolling in. I was doing 10-hour, 13-hour days, and it was tough. Like mentally, I think it's more tough. I feel like the PT or the fitness industry is people think that it's all about, you know, teaching correct form, but a lot of it's psychology. Like you're really there to shoulder anyone's burden. I always tell people, I'm like the best friend, but I'm not in your friend circle. So in other words, like if you got something going on in your life, you might not be able to tell your friends what's going on because like just it might not be that important for you to tell them, so they don't know like what's actually going on in your life. It's a little bit too personal, but it's not too extravagant. Whereas I'm in the middle. Whatever you tell me, I don't know your friend circle. So like if you tell me something's going on with your life, I don't know, like your missus is pissing you off, or
it actually doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter because I'm never gonna leak it to her because I don't even know who she is. You know what I mean? So that's how like you sort of, everyone thinks that it's just correcting form. It's not. It's really like a therapy session. But
that's interesting,
but cheaper.
It's
and then but it comes at a price. You got to cop shit. You got to cop shit from me.
Yeah, it's not just the money aspect. It's
correct.
The mental anguish you cause me every time I come.
Exactly right.
I think like it's you've brought a lot of that from your hospitality background.
100%.
How many people? Even when I was being a barista or learning bar or whatever it is, you become this like confidant of people coming in. They talk to you.
Perfect.
They tell you so many things, and then you're just like, wow, that person doesn't even know me and just told me
within 10 minutes. Like they couldn't wait to tell you.
No, it's like,
you know what I mean? And then off they go back onto their life and off to work. You know what I mean? Like they only came there for 10 minutes, boom, unloaded all this stuff on you. Like some deep secrets, you know what I mean? Like they are, like, which I know they're not telling, one, their spouse, or two, their sisters or brother, or I don't know, even their best friend. They might not want to tell them because it's what's going on in their life. They probably don't want to badger their close people or their close circle with, but they are willing to tell you, you know, and then all of a sudden, you know, and that's, you're right, hospitality, because I got to speak to, you know, you're seeing anywhere between 100 to 1,000 people a day, and you're having, you know, between small chat and deeper meaningfuls, you're having a wide spectrum of conversations. So it allowed me to sort of study people and study human psychology, which is what I sort of like. It's another passion of mine. You know what I mean? I do love how the mind works and how people tick. And I'm a good judge of character, good at analyzing. Like I've been told before, like by a lot of people, they're like, man, I seem to already know that someone's gone through some shit in their life, and they've told me nothing just by looking in their eyes, or just by certain characteristics of how they're standing or posture or whatever it is, you know. And now I've taken it a step further. Now I know through people's training, how they train, I know exactly, like, sort of, not exactly, but I have a good idea what's sort of going on or what's happened throughout their life or where they've sort of been through.
Yeah, wow.
Just posture wise.
Sure, you're actually you're analyzing people. Say first day they come in, you're analyzing that person.
It's like
and
this.
Then you adapt your training methods.
Yes, yeah. I adapt on how I speak to them, or how. So, for instance, every client's a little bit different. Some clients, like you would appreciate me to give you a little bit of shit and tell you, like, you know what, you're a woman or something.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, or like I'll badger you. You know what I mean? Or I can be a little bit more crude in my conversations. Some people, they need the encouragement. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you can tell. And it's sort of like if I could put it in a small analogy, like let's go for a handshake, all right? And we shake hands. See how your handshake, you didn't squeeze too tight, and you didn't have, like, it's not flaccid, like, you know, like your dick. It's firm, all right? And just that alone, just by shaking someone's hand, you'll be able to notice, okay, it gives me an instant sort of like background check on them. If they squeeze too hard, obviously they're overcompensating for something. Yeah. If they sort of shake their hand very limp, to me, that already means they're quite emotional. You know what I mean? So then they'll be able to fly off the wheel if something catastrophic or something small happens to their life. You know, they can't deal with that pressure. When it's firm, quite sure of himself, you know, and you are quite sure of yourself. Of like let's be real.
Yeah.
You know, so it just that alone, that's one small aspect. Obviously, posture and like there's a million things, and it's crazy. Like I'm just a calisthenics coach, but it's this. All my experiences in my life have led me to here, and who knows? After this, I might do something else. You know, like at the beginning, you were just a bartender, but like, look at you now. So you're never sort of, like I said, you're never a master. Really, you're just constantly becoming better. You're always
a master of something else.
You want to become a master.
You completely flipped it. You went from making coffees to.
Well, I went from construction, flipping coffees, and now I'm training. Who knows what's next? Maybe I'll be a podcaster. Who knows?
You just took over my podcast in like 10 years. Jeez. I think it's an interesting game because the mentality that you need to have to even train with you is an interesting game.
Yeah.
And for me, I was so bored with just training every day and just doing stuff that didn't
Monday.
challenge me.
Correct.
And then when I come train with you, and it's not just with me, I see you with your other clients as well. Like I saw I'm going to say mid-50s lady doing handstands better than me.
Yeah.
I think like 3 weeks ago. And
Paula.
Paula?
Yeah.
And I was like,
I'm about to do a reel on it today.
I'm like,
tomorrow.
how is like, because there's no limitation to, like even you saying like I could have started when I was 40, I could have started now, but you decided to do it now, which I think is great for you because it just fits your personality perfectly.
Yeah.
But like the mentality you that requires you to do the move mastery is like next level.
Yeah.
Like after I do a session with you, I can't even think.
Correct.
My
Yeah.
brain's gone because there's so many little micro movements.
Correct.
Whatever. What are you doing? Like I know what you do with me, but with everyone else, those micro movements, how do you create patience in that? Because every other PT that's out there will just, hey, I'm writing you a script. This is what you do every day. When you come with me, we're going to do bench press. We're going to do a couple of squats. We're going to jog around the oval a couple of times.
For sure.
And you're going to give me the same amount of money for that.
Yeah.
But when you train with you, there's a lot more in that. So how are you training? How are you differentiating the mental to the physical? Because even when one of my biggest problems was I don't know when to stop. So I have like a super competitive gene in me, and you had to teach me to slow down, and you still tell me now to this day, almost 2 years later, what allows you to like, obviously you got to trust the process, you've got to do all those things, but it's such a different way of training. How do you get people to buy in on that? Because it is slow.
Everyone is different, and everyone's got a different goal. Like for instance, there's a guy that wants to do a muscle up. And then, like you want a handstand. Paula wants a handstand. Someone else wants a back lever. Someone just wants to do start Cali. And I mean, this is a multi sort of layered question, lots to unpack. But in the very gist of it is the reason why. One, I'm very passionate. So if you're passionate about something, you will have patience for it. Number two, the number one thing that the client wants, all right, is results. And they want it fast. All right. So now you got to make it challenging enough for them to see, oh, okay, you know what? I'm seeing the progress. I'm seeing that I am getting a little bit better. But two, you also got to be able to pull them back, like you said. And because a lot of people will try to skip steps. And I always tell them, and I've told you a million times, whatever mistake that you are making in calisthenics, I have made 1,000 times more. And I think that's the reason, that's my secret weapon, is that I know how to relate to the person. Because when I started doing handstands, I was scared of being upside down. Like there's like I can tell you right now, like it took me a year to realize that all I was doing, I was just trying to kick up. And I wasn't even kicking up. I was barely getting my hips over, because the fear of falling over, or the fear of buckling my hands underneath, or all that stuff. Even though I had some sort of athletic background and I have a certain build from training at just the gym and doing weights, it means nothing, And you got to humble yourself. Eventually, I had to humble myself and be like, you know what? I got to go back to the drawing board and do things that I think are proper. And like I said, back then, there wasn't many tutorials online. There wasn't many YouTube instructional videos. So I had to learn this and self-teach myself. And because I had to self-teach myself, I'm lucky enough to be able to have many angles on how to teach someone. Because I know I will always try to utilize someone's strengths and really hide their weaknesses. Like for instance, all right, you told me about Paula. All right. So Paula couldn't just jump in like you did and just start doing walking up the wall and doing hands or kicking up into a handstand. You got the strength, you got the shoulders, okay? Paula doesn't. So first thing I was like, you know what? In the meantime, while we are learning this, because I know you want to get a handstand, but I can't get you a handstand right now. What I'm going to teach you is how to do a headstand, because she's got better flexibility than you because she does yoga. That's the only background that she has.
Yeah.
So in the meantime, I'm still going to teach you something cool, because at the end of the day, reason why people do calisthenics is because, let's be honest, they want to have a little trick they can show off to their friends and family and whatever. So I taught her how to do a headstand. And through learning how to do the headstand, she, one, got stronger, but two, built more awareness of where the hips need to be, legs being straight, all that sort of jazz, and knowing and learning that there is a process to this. You can't just get this immediately, because even though the body can be pushed to a certain limit, your brain and your nervous system can only learn and take in so much. Week by week, it's almost like sometimes people will walk away and be like, fuck, I had a shit session. I'm like, watch next week. Just because you had a shit session this week, I'm telling you, watch next week. For some reason, it all just sinks in. I only knew that because it used to happen.
Done it. Yeah.
It's happened to me. Yeah. I've had horrible sessions. I still have horrible sessions because I push myself all the time. I'm learning something completely new now, where it's like a handstand. You go into like a 90-degree hold and you go back into a handstand. It's called a 90-90. And still, the learning curve for that, like at my level, you think, oh, he's going to pick that up in 2 months.
Yeah,
it's taking me a year now just to get to one rep. Just one.
Yeah.
And then obviously now I want to refine it and make it look clean. And then I always tell people, people are like, oh, how long is it going to take me to learn how to do a handstand? And I'm like, okay, how long's a piece of string? Like, I can teach you how to do a handstand in 2 seconds. But what is a handstand?
You told me that be prepared for it to take you a very long time.
Yeah.
That's all you said. I was like,
I'd rather just
commit.
I'd rather just cut the bullshit.
Yeah.
But the thing is, you can hear that. So I would tell you, I wouldn't tell someone else. Someone else will come in and I know that they can't hear that. That's not in their vocabulary. So I'd have to break them down a little bit more. And I have to probably be a little bit more funny and brutal. Yeah. Like, for instance, I've sort of gotten asked this question. I get this question asked all the time. How long is it going to take me? And like, oh, it's taking me forever. Like, I'm putting in the work. And I'm like, listen, I know you feel like you're struggling now, but like, what gives you the audacity to think that you're going to learn a very specific hard skill? Or let's call it. It is a hard skill.
It is, yeah.
All right. To stand on your hands and balance for 5 seconds, 10 seconds, whatever it is. What gives you the audacity to think that you're going to learn that in 2 months when I can ask you a question, how long did it take you to learn how to walk? And they will look at me like,
yeah,
oh, yeah, fuck. The pennies drop because it's taken them at least, let's be real. Everyone's taken at least about a year to learn how to walk. So that's just walking. Something that we do every single day. It's such a simple thing. And now you want to learn a very specific hard skill in 2 weeks? No. Come on, let's be real now. So, but there is a faster process, of course. But it needs to be. You got to do your due diligence, and this is the reason why I love calisthenics, is because in the bodybuilding, I'm not talking shit about bodybuilding, but like, some guys, they're hyper responsive to just genetically gifted with muscle bellies and stuff like that. They can look aesthetically good. Then there's steroids as well, which can sort of amplify and speed up the process.
Yeah.
Calisthenics, I'm sorry, bro. Like, I don't care like how much steroids you put in, you still can't balance. If
you still need to be able to do.
You need to put the reps in of the actual drills.
Yeah.
You need to drill it. So that's why I love calisthenics more. It's like not everyone is going to be able to do it, because the people that can do it, that they've put time into this. Like, that they've spent time. And then there's always segments. There's guys that can do what I like to do, and then there's guys that just go down the road of like one-arm handstands. And I know the guys that do one-arm handstands, they usually don't do muscle ups and levers, because it takes even more like you literally specify in that one field, because it takes a lot of drilling, a lot of time, a lot of frustration for you just to be able to pull off a 2-second one-arm handstand.
But it looks beautiful.
Exactly like you said. And it's just, it depends on how crazy and psychotic you are and how much you want it.
What else is beautiful is your TikTok. If anyone wants to jump on there and see how good this guy's body looks.
Appreciate it. My TikTok is at Ned Sofic. I made that one more personal because I'd like to just talk shit on there as well. Move Mastery is a little bit more professional, and it's sort of connected to my business, Temple of Mastery, which is where we teach how to do yoga, fitness classes, and calisthenics as well. So I was trying to segment, myself from the business, but I've started to learn that.
You are the business.
I am the business. Yeah. So like, it doesn't really matter what I say. And if I offend anyone, it is what it is. I can't please everyone.
No, that's very true. You're talking about Temple of Mastery, the way you approach business for someone that hasn't really been in business that long.
2 years maybe.
It's such an interesting, to be honest, I learn a lot from you as well, because you are quite calm about everything. I mean, I feel like in my business life, like I've been through everything, like audits, tax departments, like...
Yeah, I appreciate that. Well, I mean...
being sued, all those things. But your ability to grow your business and the hustle you inherently just understand needs to be done. A lot of people just don't have that. They'll sit down, they'll complain like, oh, I'm not busy enough. I don't have enough clients, like I can't do this, but then
Yeah.
you have this like inherent natural ability to look at a space and build something special.
Yeah.
Which I think Temple of Mastery is. I travel an hour to get there.
Yeah.
That's how special I think it is.
Appreciate it, yeah.
And there's no gym that I've ever walked in, you can ask anyone around me, that I've said, I want to come here and consistently come here for every single Monday for X amount of time.
Appreciate that.
And I think like it's an interesting form that you create business out of, and it is out of passion, community, and hard work, because you are there a lot.
All the time.
Right? Where does that come from? Because it didn't come from you making coffees. It didn't really come from construction because you didn't like it. So you probably saw no passion in it.
Yep.
Was there anything that...
Yeah, there is definitely. Like, and I can, I'm sure every entrepreneur and business owner, successful, I think, business owner, can agree with me on this. It's like, I don't give a fuck what it takes. I would rather make $1,000 or $500 a week, but I want to work for myself. You know what I mean? There's no going back. I don't want to work for someone. And you're like, it didn't, you said something about like, oh, it wasn't, the baristing, it wasn't construction. It was that. It was being in that and doing it and knowing that I fucking hated it. You know what I mean? And knowing that every job that I've had, or every industry, or every career that I've been in, I knew that I was a hard worker, but I was working for someone. And I was like, if I'm willing to put this much effort and I'm willing to wake up this early for someone else, I was always thinking, just imagine what it would be like if it was mine. The world is like, it's impossible for me to fail. You know what I mean? As long as you keep going, you're never going to fail. True? And you're going to have your plateaus. And thank you for saying that I'm calm, but let's be real. It's sort of at the beginning becomes a facade, and eventually it just becomes, you have to be, it's like, I can't be stressed out because there's always something that has to be done, has to be worked out. Yeah. So you're not going to work that out in a chaotic emotional state. You have to be somewhat calm. All right. And you put into it. And I feel like it's like a hyperbolic time chamber, owning businesses and being an entrepreneur. The more you are in that sort of mindset and frame, the more problems will arise. So you're just tackling problems quicker than the person that just works behind a desk. All right. So once again, I'm getting way more reps in of managing stress than the person that's just working behind a desk, working for someone 9 to 5. All right. Because I've got bigger stresses, multiple stresses, people calling me on the phone saying, oh, rent to pay, this, that. So like you learn to deal with it and you learn that it's just a part of life. And like obviously every life experience will teach you something and you take away from it. And my gym, the reason why it looks so different is, once again, I wanted to say this. Everyone's business model is a little bit different, or at least it will eventually seep out. So my background or how I was in school or my interests at school have sort of determined how I want my place to look like. And I always want it to be a little bit different. You know what I mean? I don't want to be like every other gym. I don't want to be like a normal gym where they got just there's black floors and it's just weights and stuff like that. I want it to be different. I want my place to look like, oh my God, I feel like I'm in Byron, or I feel like I'm in Bali. Yeah. You know what I mean? But really like you're in Kings Road in a warehouse. But as soon as you walk in, it feels different.
It does.
And the minimalism aspect and, obviously I'm a big fan of, the movie Troy and Gladiator, and I use quotes from there and stuff like that. So obviously I am trying to sort of leave my mark of that interest onto my work in my business, So everything about me, my whole personality is seeped into that business. And that's why no one can replicate it. And that's why no matter what I try to sort of distance myself or segregate myself from Move Mastery and Temple of Mastery or my TikTok, whatever, it's impossible. I am the business, my business partner as well.
100%.
Darren, he's also part of it, and he has his own part and taste and how can I say, like his
touch points.
Touch points and personality traits that are embedded into that concrete and into the bars and into the mats and all that stuff like that, into the plants, whatever. But it's impossible, It's impossible for us to not for me not to be the business because I am.
I kind of like the way you've set it up too, because there is you talk about like move mastery and like having to, like, we're always learning and we're always becoming masters of something, right? As we go. Like you guys actually, like you and Darren both have like a natural vulnerability to everybody that walks in the place too.
For sure.
Whether it's a tradesman that just walked past or whatever it is, you're always happy to say, well, I actually don't know what that is, but we can find out for you. Or, Darren was learning how to kickbox, and within like 3 weeks, I'm hearing him hit a bag. I'm like, holy.
Yeah, he actually knows how to kick. Knows how to kick a bag now.
So you guys don't only preach that, and it's not only part of your DNA, but every day you guys are living the actual bits and pieces you're preaching.
Correct. I would never teach something to someone that I don't know myself or I haven't tried myself. Like, for instance, we do a program for just the fitness classes in general in the mornings.
Yeah.
It's all different types of exercises. And some of them are like some people have never even seen these exercises. And I don't even know what to coin them sometimes. I just make up my own names, Like there's this exercise. I didn't know the name of it. Now I know what the name of it is. It's called a somersault squat. But at the beginning I was calling it the Balkan toilet seat, because you got to have kettlebell between your thighs, and you got to sort of drop your bum all the way towards the floor, and your calves and thighs have to touch each other, and you're going to stick your ass up, and people will think that it looks just like a weird sort of ideal, but really it actually works your quads. You know what I mean? Okay. And it's, I did that. It's still my program. So and even pistol squats and all stuff like that. I would never teach someone something that I haven't tried, or I'm not even using it, and I don't sort of recommend it, and through that, obviously there's a lot of learning curves. Sometimes you gain injuries, and people will be like, oh, injuries, fuck. And I'm always riddled with injuries because I'm trying something new, and I'm teaching myself something that sort of I don't have a lot of information on. But even with the injury, it allows me to learn something about myself, and then through that I'm able to help someone later on. Like, for instance, I'll give you a story. I don't know if we've got time.
There's always time. 3 hours, remember?
So, I was getting my bike license, and finally got my bike license for my L's. I was driving home. I was so psyched. I was putting in the nav, man, as I'm driving maybe 30 kilometers an hour, but I'm clearly not paying that much attention to the road, or for a split second. Anyways, something scurried along the road, whatever it was, and ended up hitting a pole. I broke my hand 2 weeks before we opened. Sorry, 2 weeks after we opened.
I remember this.
I broke my hand. And my bread and butter, like you said, is pretty much teaching handstands or muscle ups or doing something with my hands. So I was out of commission for a little bit, but I still decided to just be there every single day and train. Not because I wanted to sort of prove myself a macho, but I'm like, if I can go into the space and they can see me with a cast, and I'm there, what fucking excuse do you have now to not wake up in the morning and just come up to my class? That's number one. Number two, through that injury, I started to learn that when someone has inflamed wrists or pain in their wrists, it's actually not around here, but it's really all the tendons and muscles that are in your forearm. So then I realized, okay, if you have inflammation or something like that in the wrist, it's actually because I was massaging my forearm all the time, and it helped me recover my broken hand. I was able to do a handstand again in like 4 weeks, even though the doctors were like, bro, you're not doing a push-up in like 8 weeks.
Yeah.
And I just, and the thing is, I started laughing at them. I'm like,
I'm doing this.
Cool. No worries, man. I'll see whenever I have to see you, but I'll be doing a handstand by then. And going to further that, I got that mentality from when I first had my monumental injury when I was 11. I had a brick wall fall on my legs, and I remember crush fracture, broken, dislocated all my toes, all my feet were fucked. And the doctor goes up to my mum and she goes, oh, he probably won't be able to run again, and maybe not even be able to walk. And then my mum started crying. And
I didn't know that.
Yeah, she started crying. And I'm like, why are you crying? She goes, oh, you're just too young to understand. I go, and at 11 years old, this is how stubborn I was. I was like, you think I'm going to let him dictate like how my life's going to turn out? Like, I'm not going to listen to him. This is one guy. Like, let's get another opinion. You know what I mean? And I realized sooner or later the reason why, like, it was because normally when people have these injuries, they're so dormant, they don't do anything. You know what I mean? Literally nothing.
Yeah.
You know, but there's always something you can do. So that's when the genesis of calisthenics or body weight or training came into place. I started realizing, okay, if I want to start healing and rehabbing quicker and being on crutches before, I was supposed to be in a wheelchair for like 3 to 6 months, chucked that thing away after 2 weeks, started doing crutches straight away. For me to sustain myself on crutches, you need to have obviously a decent upper body build.
Yeah.
So I started doing dips in my room and started doing bicep curls and whatever you can think of as an 11-year-old, trying to build an upper body. And then lo and behold, I had the strength to walk longer on my crutches, you know what I mean? And because I could do that, I was getting more reps in on my crutches. And then because of that, what the doctor meant was our hands, if they're not used, they sort of tend to curl like this. So our feet, when not used, would also do the same. And you'll get arthritis and your feet will end up being like this. So then later on, when you start learning how to walk, it's too late for you to lengthen it out. It will be too much pain, so you won't be able to run. And that's what it sort of meant by that. Whereas me, I started walking on my feet immediately. You know, one, obviously ego, pride. Two, like I was going from year 6 to year 7, and I go to my mum, I go, I don't want to be a cripple on my first day of school. You know what I mean? There's no chance. I don't want to do that. I don't want to go and roll into a wheelchair, and be called, Professor X. So yeah, that's pretty much in a nutshell, like the driving force and why I tick the way I tick. It's
interesting. It's always
all the experiences.
Yeah.
When you really look back, the reason you are the way you are is because how you've decided from everything that's happened in your life, you just went one way or the other. You know what I mean? And gladly I went a certain way, and it helped me in this regard. You know,
love that.
Everything's a lesson.
Yeah, that's great. I think
I think you're the same.
I'm very similar. I'm just thinking back to when I was younger, whether I was like that, but I was just always very competitive.
Well, that's
so
from
if someone
basketball.
told me no as well, there's no way. I'm like, I didn't get into like, I was a small kid until like year 10. So I had to be fast and athletic or I would not get into anything.
Yeah.
And then I missed out on like under 10s, under 12s. And then I just went, next year I'm going to be bottom age 14s and I'm going to be starting 5.
Yeah.
The coach laughed me out. I had 2 kids. Your name's Nate Tomlinson, so still out there.
Shout out to Nate Tomlinson.
He's all right. He's a good fella. And it was another guy, Blake. I forget his last name. And they both said to me at the tryouts, I said, you're going to be trying pretty hard today, aren't you, to get in? That's what they said to me.
Yeah.
And I'd been training for like a year straight. Just focused on, I didn't give a shit about anyone around me. I was shooting. Yeah. And like at the trainings afterwards, the coach said my name first.
Yeah, well.
And I just walked up and I was just smiling. Then they were on my team. So then they had to then play with me.
Yeah.
After saying that.
And pretty much eat their words.
And then I turned around and said, well, now I'm coming for you. But I was like 12 years old.
How good is that feeling though?
Oh, man. It's like the best thing ever. And like they probably don't remember doing that. They were just being kids,
Of course.
But to me, I was already an adult at that age. Like my dad never really let me be a kid.
Yeah.
When I didn't make a team, he's like, no, don't cry. Go to the coach and say to him, why didn't I make the team? What can I work on
What's it going to take? Yeah.
So I had to go and face up to my fear. I was upset for not making a team. My dad's like, no, you don't get to go home yet.
Yeah.
I want you to go up to him in front of everybody here and tell him, I want to be in the team next year. I want to do that.
Isn't that crazy how like that little moment in your life, very young, shaped your life? You know what I mean?
Massively.
Just like that experience, that upbringing from your dad and him just saying, you know what, like, so what? You didn't make it. Go ask your coach, how you going to be better? And immediately that sort of just bled into the rest of your life now.
We call it leaning into hospitality.
Yeah.
Leaning into the problem. Like you don't lead away, you lean into it. That is literally my business mantra now.
Yeah, cool.
And it comes from, like now that I'm thinking about it, probably comes from all the way back there, which is like.
And that's the psychology part that I like. Like when you really think about it, like we're actually constantly being molded by the experiences in our life,
and the people around us.
The people around us and the conversations that we're having. Like, I mean, even this conversation, who knows? In 3 years' time, you're like, man, it was from that podcast that we did the other day, Dax. That's the reason why we're doing this today.
We're doing this today or whatever.
Who knows?
Do you have a business mentor? Do you have anyone you look up to or any like trainer that you were like, man, I just...
really. Not really. Like, I wouldn't say like a mentor that I look up to. Like I get inspiration from everyone, man. Like someone like yourself would come in and I get inspiration from you because I've met you when I was 18 years old.
Maybe younger.
And you already had like your own bar, bro. And I was like, fuck, man, look at this cunt. Like, he's already like doing it. You know what I mean? I'm just like barely going to class, bro, in uni, and I'm getting smashed every weekend, you know, and I'm going out on Wednesday nights to the Eastern, and this guy's like full blown running a business, you know what I mean? So I get inspired from like my peers, obviously, and then any sort of like a figure that's out there that speaks eloquently. I like people that know how to speak. You know, obviously, the general like Bruce Lee and even Tony Robbins, all those kind of guys. Like, I mean, they instill something in me. And then even movies, like, you know, how many times have you heard me quote, you know,
Too much.
Achilles or like, you know, from Gladiator or anywhere where I can get sort of a masculine frame and inspiration from, I will use it, you know, and that's sort of my mentor. And like I said, I'm always learning. Like now, obviously, the business part has come into play. So like the intangibles, you know, I know that I'm somewhat comfortable in terms of talking, you know, but the other intangibles, you know, what's happening with figures and taxes and ATO and, you know, council and all that stuff like that, that now I've got to get an inspiration from somewhere else. I can't get that from movies, you know. Maybe you can.
Maybe The Godfather.
But even that, man, like I mean, like you get inspired from all that stuff.
Yeah, I agree. I'm the same. I do have business mentors, but they have changed, and it depends on my mood, on where I'm going to. You know, like if I need help with a certain thing, I know to go to that person or hear that person out or the next one. I've got a few older business mentors, but generally, like I just go to my dad.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Yeah, that's mad.
Which is pretty cool.
I sort of don't have that.
Yeah. And my mum. I should say my mum.
Yeah.
My mum's really good at numbers.
Yeah. So see,
she's
like,
the one that taught me.
Mum, in terms of when it comes to business, I don't have someone close to my family that I can sort of look up to.
Yeah.
Because they were, like I said before, they're European. It's all about career and job and uni, you know, all that sort of stuff. But my mum had it tough, and obviously, when I was younger, I just sort of didn't understand what the hell was going on. And, you know, but now looking back, obviously, like years later, I'm like, man, my mom was a gangster, you know, like she supported 2 kids by herself. You know, she came from a war-torn country, left as a refugee to Germany. We came from Germany to Australia, you know what I mean? Didn't know a lick of English, and then pretty much had to sort of make it happen with, you know, obviously, my mum and dad split up shortly after we came to Australia. And then, we had nothing. And she's like, she's not young. Like, she was, I think, in her 50s. She decided, you know what? Screw it. I'm going to give it another crack. I'm going to become a doctor. And then she did. And that, to me, is gangster. Like, just that stubbornness probably got instilled from her. You know what I mean? Like,
yours exhibit A, you're exhibit B.
If ever she comes up to me and says, you know, oh, you're so stubborn, I'm just going to be like, well, because I saw you. You know what I mean? You taught me this indirectly. And thank you for it. You know,
that's cool.
Everyone will say stubborn, like, you know, don't be stubborn, don't be selfish, don't be this, but like, obviously to a certain degree, but these qualities is what pushes and drives us to become better, true or not. You know what I mean?
I agree. I agree.
If we get walked all over all the time, you're never going to get anywhere.
No.
You know, if you need to be, like, everyone will be like, oh, be selfless, be selfless. Like, man, if you're selfless, you're never going to be selfish enough to do something great in your life. And then if you're not great in your life, how can you help the people that you really love?
But define selfless. Is selfless to, like, there's multiple aspects to selfless. And people use a word and they
it's a trigger, it's a buzzword.
It's a buzzword.
Of course.
Selfless to me is that I will do anything for my friends.
Yeah.
Selfless to me is that if my wife says, I feel like McDonald's smart, I'm going to take it to McDonald's. If my son wants to play with me and wants tickles, I'm going to give that to him.
For sure.
Right?
For sure.
My parents need something, that's selfless to me.
For sure.
If I'm trying to build a business and I'm trying to build a life and I'm trying to put money in the bank, I'm not being selfless.
Correct.
It doesn't exist.
Correct.
It actually doesn't exist.
Well, there's going to be a balance. I'm glad you brought up your son as well. Like, I'm not giving you any parenting advice, but I'll tell you what I do. So it's like, I had a moment with my friend, and I had my daughter with me. We were shopping, whatever. And my daughter comes up to me and she's like, Dad, can I have this chocolate? And I'm like, nah, you can't. In me, as a parent, and especially having a daughter, you want to give him everything.
Of course.
However, you know, I know that, like, even though I want to, I'm dying to give it the chocolate. And it's such a small little dumb lesson. I'll say no. Because if I keep saying yes and yes and yes and yes, it's not going to get her anywhere. If I keep saying no, it's that, even though I am being quote unquote selfish for myself, not letting her have this, whatever. Really, I'm being selfish because I'm trying to, one, obviously think about her health and teach her a lesson that you can't always have exactly what you want in life, because life is not going to give you everything on a silver platter.
Love that.
And just little lessons, And I learned, like, if you ask me about my mentor, who's my greatest mentor, man, my daughter is, I swear to God, I use her as an example for everything.
I know,
you
tell me
I tell you all the time, because when you look through this the lens of a child, they are so pure and innocent that they are learning everything. And the way they learn and pick up things, it's like, okay, if my daughter can pick this up at the age of 3, why can't you, who's a 30-year-old? You know what I mean? You should be able to pick this up. You're just choosing not to because you're so limited in your belief, thinking, oh, I can't, it's too hard. You know what I mean? Kids don't think anything's hard. They're just like, fuck it, I want to give it a crack, And if they're scared, and you talk them through them, like, listen, I know you're scared, but, let's do it this way. Let's do it this way. Or you make it somewhat fun, or you make it a little bit palatable for them. All of a sudden, they forget their fear, and all of a sudden, they're having fun. How many times have parents wanted to put their kid in a pool and the kid's screaming, and then as soon as they start like realizing that the water's not that dangerous or the water's not that cold, all of a sudden, you can't get them out of the pool.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And life is like that. People are like that as well. But they just think, they let their fears hold back. And I love this quote. I'm going to butcher it maybe, and I don't know the exact quote of it. It's like, but like, fear and faith both require one thing: the belief in the unknown. Okay? So it's like, having faith that something's going to work out, you have to first believe that it's going to work out.
Yeah.
Because you're not
at a minimum.
It's not guaranteed.
Yeah.
Same as fear.
Yeah.
You have to believe that catastrophic is going to happen.
Yeah.
It's not guaranteed. You know what I mean? So like, you always need belief there. And how can you make someone believe something? Well, that's your job. Well, my job. In my
jump in that pool.
Yeah, you got to jump in.
You got to
have a leap of faith, right? That's what it is.
So what's on the horizon for this year?
Oh man, this year, obviously, now we've gotten to a point where in my business where finally things are starting to like we know sort of who we are at least.
Yeah.
I want to solidify that, obviously. I want to refine the product to its max, which I think we've gotten to a certain degree. And now it's time for growth. Like I allowed myself to, set the mark in terms of like, this is my flag. This is who we are. We are different from all of you guys. We do calisthenics and yoga and fitness classes. You guys do CrossFit and group fitness classes, VR and F45 and all that stuff like that. We're different, and so I've put my own flag on this planet somewhere. And now, obviously, when you start a new business, you're always doubting yourself, thinking, fuck, am I doing everything right? Do people even like this? Am I even teaching what I'm teaching right? So it took about 2 years for me to realize, I am confident. Obviously, people are coming back. And what I love about our business is it's not a big turnover. Like, some gyms are like,
churn rate.
Yeah, like the churn rate is like 3 months and all of a sudden, like, you don't see the person ever again. Like, we have clients we've had from day one, and we usually have that. Like, they very rarely do they go away because they have to buy into the philosophy that, okay, if I want something that's valuable, it takes time to learn and earn. You got to earn, your licks.
That's it.
Can't just buy it. So that's just growth for.
I love that. I love that you just like can focus on one thing.
Yeah. Oh, I try.
I struggle with that. I really do. Like I have a million passions, and my biggest thing, and I've just done my yearly goal setting and stuff. Like I have to then hone in my thought processes. Otherwise, I actually have the ability to do 10 things at once.
Mm.
The problem is all 10 never win.
Yeah, that's
you always
true.
get 1 or 2 that win, and I've always been pretty lucky that at least 30% hits.
Mm.
But now, as I'm getting older and I want more family time and things in balance, like I'm just making sure that now I'm focused.
Mm.
But
I never was like that, or like this, I should say. Before I had this business, I was trying to figure out a way how to become an entrepreneur. So I was looking up everything, drop shipping, you know, online marketing, sales, fuck, you name it, bro. Like I was thinking about
Sell me this cup.
Yeah, like anything, bro. I was looking at every single video, and I was thinking of any single possibility on how to make money for myself. So I was like, I just want to be able to wake up in the morning and know that now that I've woken up, the day started, it's like I get to decide how this day is going to turn out.
How each minute works.
Each minute works, you know? And I spread myself very thin. So I was learning this. Maybe I want to be I want to have my own cafe. Oh, nah, maybe I want to do drop shipping. Oh, nah, maybe I want to sell online courses. Or maybe I want to be an online PT. And then until one day, one of my mates is just telling me like, bro, just pick one. Pick one.
Good.
Because the thing is, he goes to him, he actually was humble enough to say, he goes, you're smart enough, but you're stupid as well to like be your own worst enemy. You're smart enough to be the best at anything you want to be, but you got to know that you want to do it. And if it's wrong, that's your fear. He goes, you think that you have to, you're too scared to dive into one thing because you just think that, oh fuck, what if it becomes better than you actually ever imagined? And as soon as he told me that, and I was like, fuck it. Let's just fail monumentally.
I love that. And I think like I had a mentor of mine say, if you follow your passion, the money will come. And you actually went with the passion rather than the money, and then the money will come.
Yeah, of course.
Random one, what's your dream car?
My dream car? Oh, man. Fuck, I don't know. I'm a black guy, so. I mean.
We were just talking about it before. I was like, I want a 911. Poor.
If I had,
that's just a random.
If I had stupid money, I'd love a Lamborghini Countach.
Oh,
those old school ones.
Yeah.
If I had just stupid money,
Miami white.
Yeah, Miami white. Or like, I mean, I'll take any color at the end of the day. That, I mean, you can't go wrong with Ferrari as well. Yeah, that would be it. That would be it. Like, but I'm not that. Like, once again, I'm not that into cars. I'm not that into materialistic things as well. Like, I like toys. I'd use it as a toy, but I know that I wouldn't be able to take care of it.
Sucks that adult toys just get heaps expensive, though.
Of course.
They're the worst.
Of course.
Anyway, just to keep the tradition going in the long pour, our next guest, you've got to pick the drink that they get to drink. What would you like to pick?
Oh, okay. Well, let's do an espresso martini because, you know.
Espresso martini.
That's the one.
That's going to end up being like the drink of the whole thing.
Why? Is that what everyone sort of picks?
I've done one. It's meant to be. Well, thanks for coming on.
I don't know any big drinks, you know, so if
espresso martini it is. I'm just going to have to make it special somehow. I'm going to do something.
Legend.
Thanks very much for coming on.
Thanks, man.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate you having me, bro. Thank you very much.
Let's go to the gym.